Hey, it's your gamer friend Peadee, and we are in Scrolls looking at the pre-constructed decks. We've looked at growth, we've looked at energy, and now it's time for order. The first card you get, and you get one copy, is a spell. It's called Blessing of Haste. Look on the right side of the screen, you get to see the large version plus the flavor text. Target unit's countdown is decreased by 1. And basically, it just allows you to attack a little bit sooner. The next card, you get two of these. It's called Callback. It's a spell. Target unit you control is returned to your hand. Basically, let's say your unit was poisoned and is about to die. It's about to be run over by an iron golem, or an iron ogre, excuse me. It's hard to keep those two straight. An iron ogre, and it's going to die anyway, and it's going to kill your idol anyway. Why not pull him out of your hand and save him for a rainy day? It costs 1 order resource point, and you get 2 of those. Next is a pretty powerful but weak unit. Costs 1 resource point. He does 4 attack, he has a 3-round cooldown, and he has 2 hearts. He does a ranged attack. Basically, if you can get them out on the field quickly, they can take down structures, they can take down idols, they can take down powerful mobs pretty quickly, but they do need, since they only have 2 hearts, they can pretty much be killed by almost anything that your opponents will throw out there. So it's a good early unit, it's a good unit behind fortification. You get 1 copy of Crown of Strength, which is an enchantment that gives you +1 to attack and +2 health. Very powerful. You get 1 copy of Ducal Infantryman, which requires 2 resource points, and he has a 1 attack, 2-round cooldown, 3 hearts. All other creatures you control on the same row as a Ducal Infantryman gain +1 attack. So this is where we start to see the synergies of the order deck starting to come into play, where if you mix your rows with different kinds of units, they start buffing each other just because they're next to one another. So this guy gives +1 attack to everyone in his row. Let's see. Next, you get 2 copies of the Ducal Skirmisher, which has Relentless, by the way. He costs 4 resource points. He does 3 attack, 2-round cooldown, and 4 hearts. So just imagine if you have him with the Ducal Infantryman, he would do 4 attack. Pretty powerful. After that is a Ducal Spearman. He also costs 4 resource points. He has 1 attack, 2-round cooldown, and 4 hearts. He's not so much what you use as your attacker. He has Spiky too. He also has a lot of health. Basically, you put him on the outside of your row, and he'll protect everyone else. Spiky 2 means that when he is meleeed, the attacker receives 2 damage. So you can imagine pretty quickly that against growth, this is a very good, valid defense, because the Ragged Wolves, who only have 2 hearts, basically will do 1 heart of damage to him and then die. So without any buffs, Then we have a spell called Flip. It costs 2 resource points. You can move a target opponent to any unoccupied tile on the opponent's board. Basically, you get to choose where to move an opponent. If you have an attack row that's just about to go through and you want to take out one of his powerful units, or if you want to get one of his units out of the way so that you can attack his idol or attack a unit that's defended, this is the card for you. One of those. You get 2 copies of Focus, which is a 1 resource card. Your target unit gains +3 to attack until the end of the turn. So very powerful. Can you imagine using this in addition to a Relentless guy who also happens to have an infantryman in his row? I mean, that would give him +4 attack. Just those 2 guys. Pretty crazy. Here's another spell that you get 1 copy of. It's called Frostwind. You add +1 countdown to units on target tile and all adjacent tiles. So basically you can affect 5 units at once with 1 spell. and they all add 1 to their cooldown. You get 1 copy of the Honorable General. That's 4 attack, 3 round cooldown, and 6 hearts. His main effect is that when the Honorable General's countdown becomes 0, all adjacent units have their countdown decreased by 2. So basically, if he is in the middle of a bunch of troops, he's going to let them all attack at once. Pretty unstoppable. Horn of Ages allows all units opponent controls have their move decreased by 1 until the end of the opponent's turn. So that means basically no running away from attacks. You get 2 copies of Kabonk, which is a simple spell. It costs 2 resource points. You get to deal 1 damage to a target unit, and you get to draw a scroll. Basically, it's a free draw, but if you happen to have units that have 1 heart left due to attacks or whatever damage, or just a weak unit, you can take them out and get a free card. You get 2 and you got 3 of those, by the way. You get 2 copies of New Orders, another 1 resource point spell. All your units have their move increased by 1 until the end of the turn. So if they have a 1 move, you can actually move them 2. You can cluster units together that weren't clustered. You can move them all up several rows. It's very, very important for the order player, because you want to keep all your units together. Order soldiers are very weak when they're all by themselves. They're very strong when you have all 3 of them controlling a row. And order is all about board control, and this definitely will help you achieve that. You get 2 copies of Obelisk, which is a structure. It costs 2 resource points. It has 5 hearts, and basically it's just a barrier, but it's probably one of the strongest barriers in the game. Next to this one, Waking Stones. Waking Stones cost 3 resource points. They only have 3 hearts, but all damage dealt to Waking Stones is reduced to 1. In other words, if you even if you have a guy buffed to attack 11, if he hits the Waking Stones, he'll only do 1 damage to it, and that will stop his attack. You get 1 of those. 2 copies of Plate Armor. 2 resource points is required. All combat damage to enchanted unit is decreased by 1. Another powerful spell. You can put that on. It's a permanent effect, by the way. You can put that on, say, your Honorable General, or on your Obelisk, or your Waking Stones. Right now there's a bug where if you put Plate Armor on Waking Stones, you actually make them immune to physical attack, which is not correct, and it will probably be fixed soon enough. But in the meantime, if you're order, you might as well exploit it. Your next card is Powerbound. You get 2 of these. It costs 1 resource points. When an enchanted unit you control is destroyed, increase your order by 1. It's basically you get free order from losing a unit, which the more resources you have from in your order, when you're playing order, the more resources you have, the better off you are. 2 copies of Purification, a very powerful spell for the order crew. It removes all enchantments from target unit. Good or bad, if you've been poisoned by, say, growth, you can cast that on your unit and remove that. If you get Ember Bombs cast on you, you can remove that. Or is it Ember or Amber? I can't remember. But anyway, if someone has a super buffed unit that's going to attack you, say a Great Wolf that has 2 champion rings and Dryatic power and what is it called? Bear Paw. You can take those all off with 1 spell, and it only costs you 1 1 resource point. You get 2 of those. You get 1 copy of another great spell. It costs 4 resource points. It's called Pushback. Basically, you can take any unit that's been played by your opponent, and you can put it back into their deck in their hand. But again, if they have a buffed unit that's about to attack, you can push it back, and like say an Iron Ogre that takes 3 rounds to spin up, you can push it back right before it's about to attack, and then that player will lose that attack and then have to play it and then wait for the cooldown to play through again. So it's a pretty annoying spell for your opponents. You get 3 copies of Resonant Helm, which is a healing buff. It costs 1 resource point. Your enchanted unit's health is healed 1 every time you play a spell or enchantment. Any spell that you play or an enchantment on any other unit causes the unit that has this helmet played on him will increase it by his health by 1. It's pretty handy. You get 3 of those. You get 2 copies of Royal Infantryman. He has 1 attack, 2 round cooldown, and 2 hearts. And that's not that great, but his effect is that all other creatures you control on the same row as a Royal Infantryman gain +1 health. So basically, again, talking about synergies, you can imagine having a unit that gives you +1 attack. Where is he? +1 attack, Ducal Infantryman, plus a Royal Infantryman, which gives you +1 health, plus this guy that gives you Relentless, or this guy that's spiky. And you're starting to get a pretty powerful little crew together. We have also and you have 2 of those. We have 2 copies of Royal Skirmisher, who has 3 attack, 2 round cooldown, and 3 hearts. He is also relentless. You can contrast him from the Ducal Skirmisher because he has a bit less health. But otherwise, he's the same. He's got the same attack and the same cooldown. He just has 1 heart less health. Next in your deck, and you have 2 of those. You have 1 copy of Royal Vanguard, who costs 5 resource points to play. He's got 3 attack, 2 round cooldown, 5 hearts. But his effect is that when his countdown becomes 0, all adjacent units gain +2 to attack. So again, talk about some synergy. Can you imagine having him next to your Honorable General? Where's our Honorable General? Here he is. Who gives you cooldown 0. So that puts him on 0. This guy also gives you +2 to attack. So because his cooldown became 0 because he was next to the Honorable General. So then all the other units, and then you have this guy who already has a gives +1 to attack on everyone, and then you have one of these relentless guys, and so he's getting a +3. I mean, it adds up, and it's crazy. So you have 2 rows of guys, 6 units on the field, and all of a sudden you are destroying everything in your way. You also get 2 copies here of Sin-Marked Zealot, which is a very weak card. It only costs 1 resource point. He has 1 attack, 2 round cooldown, and 1 heart. However, when the countdown is 0, you can sacrifice the card and do 2 damage to a unit. So basically, you can kill a unit outright or do enough damage where another guy attacking might be able to kill him. And it works on anything. It's a unit, so you can do it on a structure as well. You have 1 copy here of Summons, and that allows you to draw 1 structure from your library. Basically, for 1 resource point, you get to play a pull out of your library. You get to pull a structure into your deck, which is very handy for defensive reasons. You get 2 copies of Thought Trap. It costs 2 resource points, and you double the unit's countdown. Now that's a very powerful thing to do. When I've played Order, I've played Thought Trap and Frostwind concurrently. Basically, say someone played an Iron Ogre, it has a 3 cooldown. I've played Frostwind, added +1 countdown, which gives him 4 then, and then I've doubled it with Thought Trap, and so all of a sudden you have to wait 8 rounds to play your Iron Ogre. Pretty frustrating. And plenty of time to beat your opponent or destroy the Iron Ogre. You also finally get 2 copies of Vengeance Veil, which costs 1 resource points. When the enchanted unit receives damage, its countdown decreases by 1. Basically, if you have a powerful unit with a lot of health, if it takes damage, it will attack sooner. That's all that is. And that's it for Order. Don't forget to check the links to check growth and the energy decks. And thanks. I'll be doing some more tutorial videos soon, so be sure to check back in my tutorials playlist. And thanks for watching. Peadee out.